Welcome, 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 welcome. We are live on Facebook. Welcome to the third and final session of yours truly coffee with the priestess of the goddess. Yes, I did say GODDESS. Welcome to the special part of this ongoing trilogy of meditation. First and foremost, we'll state that I am grateful, thankful that got this cup of coffee, and we are going to sweeten the cup of coffee with some honey, honey from the bees. Thank you, bees and the workers, and of course the farmers who grew this honey in the city of Wotton, Wotton in Quebec, La Belle Province. Sending big appreciation, thank you, and I am grateful, thankful that my rent is fully paid my rent and electricity bill, and also paid the internet. So the triple trinity of bills being rent, electricity bill, and internet being paid, it is the January today 19th 2023 according to some. Let's make it year one of the return of the forgotten goddess who never left, because she still dances and has danced and will dance with her brother the sun, as the motto of the DGA dancing goddess is that all the fruits, vegetables, and legumes are made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother the sun, including all the grains that our brothers and sisters, farmers, harvest for us to make, upgrade, or maintain civilization. And that is the motto of the Dancing Goddess Army that yours truly, Priestess of the Goddess GODDSS, is calling for all to support the creation via a public private partnership here in Hawk Island, Montreal, from North America, to be integrated with all existing organizations and institutions, and to be for pleasure and purpose. To be for pleasure and purpose. To be both for pleasure and for purpose. Do not want to waste any honey, so I lick the jar, baby. I do not want to waste any honey, 'cause times are tough financially. So I lick the jar, baby. We're gonna sing for the goddess. Let's sing a little bit for the forgotten goddess. Calling, of course, for the creation, the establishment, the building of a forgotten goddess temple. It could be just simply named the Temple of the Forgotten Goddess, or simply Forgotten Goddess Temple, right here from Hawk Island, Montreal, which yours truly will credit its building with 77 trillions of kisses. A trillion is 1,000 billion, and a billion is 1,000 million. Please, 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 Wall Street, buy, sell, trade stocks, futures, options, puts on the Wall Street, on the stock exchanges, please. Call it a heart from the priestess of the goddess who has a temple round about Mother Nature as she dances with her brother sun. And everybody has to eat, gotta eat. Even Wall Street gotta eat. So please, Wall Street, if you do make 1 million profit buying, selling, trading stocks today, and it is 11:33 a.m. here in the morning in Hawk Island, you got a few more hours to trade, buy, sell, trade stocks, futures, options, puts. Please give 10% for food security. Divide that 10%, because 10% of 1 million is the equivalent of 100,000. 100,000 can be divided by 4, and that is 25,000. 25,000 for food security, 25,000 for women's sports leagues, and 25,000 for LGBTQ issues, and 25,000 to plant a tree for every tree. Yours truly, priestess of the goddess, gonna say a meditation for this black coffee where I put a little bit of a golden honey, that even the honey and the black coffee bean coming from the red berry, like all the fruits, vegetables, and legumes, are made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother the sun, and our brothers and sisters farmers harvest those fruits, those legumes, those vegetables for us to make, upgrade, or maintain civilization. And I'm grateful, thankful that I have food for today, that my rent is paid, thankful that I can work, have a connection, and thank you, of course, to the internet. Because civilization has its privileges, the privilege of civilization, and the DGA Dancing Goddess Army stands for maintenance of civilization and upgrading civilization. At this point in time, upgrading civilization means that we have to work to attain harmony, equilibrium, and balance between civilization and nature. I firmly believe And I'm not perfect, far from it. I get dirty, but I get back clean. That the DGA, Dancing Goddess Army, aka the North American Integrated Dance League or the International Integrated Dance League, to be a league of dance, public and private partnership, more cooperative than competitive, to be a PPP in all things, a public and a private partnership, and to be for pleasure and purpose. To be for pleasure and purpose. As a matter of fact, later we will contact a few institutions, organizations involved in dance, and Minister of the Environment of Canada to call, as I'm calling all citizens willingly living on this live stream, Facebook. You don't have to say the word goddess, as a priestess of the goddess who dances with her brother sun round about the sun. My pope now rises and sets, and the hairs on the goddess's body are the big majestic trees, and I am a piece of dust, lusting, getting moody, with hopes, with desires, with feelings, with dreams, literally dreams, and more of those dreams in which the terms are what you want to do, to achieve, or to do. And if one dream that the priestess or the goddess wants to have is a temple, to build a temple for the forgotten goddess. Cheers to the forgotten goddess. Maybe 156 square meters, round, circular, and just on the entrance to say Forgotten Goddess Temple, and to have seven pointed stars, green, gold, and black, and to be full of rainbow colors, and inside depictions of diverse people hugging, holding hands, dancing, and children being joyous, and with music, and with art, and with dream interpretations, and offer some services with volunteering from priestesses, volunteer priestesses, men or women, of course, LGBTQ friendly, trans men, trans women can serve as priestesses in the temple of the forgotten goddess who dances with her brother sun, who will gonna support lay the first brick of such a temple to the forgotten goddess. The forgotten goddess. The temple of the forgotten goddess. And yours truly, priestess, calls all to the DGAD. Throw that DGA to the dancing goddess army, which is another dream, part of the same dream, with sub dreams, to create integrated a dance league that is cooperative more than competitive, that is integrated, meaning that it's all genders, all sexual orientations, all friendly, inclusive, and more cooperative for pleasure and purpose of the Dancing Goddess Army. For pleasure, dancing is my favorite sport and fundamentally am the greatest dancer. While admitting that at some things I am mediocre, I admit at some things I am average, I admit at some things I am so-so, while being so-so, mediocre, and average. At some things I am also great, super, and excellent at some other things such as dancing. The Dancing Goddess Army, who is of course complementary to the Dragon Army, that I'm calling fundamentally both to be a public-private partnership in support of Adrian Hunter Dragon's dream, the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, the Dragon Empire and the Dancing Goddess Empire, one kingdom together, like the sun and the moon, just like the Dancing Goddess Army is complementary, cooperative, and covenant to the Dragon Army. For pleasure and purpose, right here from Montreal, aka Hawk Island, to be an institution integrated with all existing public and private institutions and organizations, corporations, governments, municipalities, and small businesses, medium businesses, and all citizens to be integrated and to have activities, have events such as, of course, dancing for different parts of our nature or civilization, for flora and for fauna, and the dance for the farmers. That'll be probably the first, the dance for the farmers, which I'm gonna do in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead. Because everybody got 80 from Wall Street. Please give 10% to food security divided by 4, 10% of 1 million, which you're gonna make if you make profit buying, selling, trading stocks. 10% is 100,000 divided by 4. That is 25,000 for food security, 25,000 for women's sports leagues, because My brothers in the NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. Let's face it, there's not even one women's sports leagues which makes even close economically, financially, commercially to the aforementioned. And you know, Priestess of the Goddess, triple times three the cheerleaders' salaries, please. NFL starting today, ASAP, now tonight, tomorrow, latest next week. Please, 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 triple times three the cheerleader salaries, and please, National Football League, NFL, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, please finance ASAP food security, and please mass donate to women sports leagues, women basketball, women's hockey, women's basketball, women's soccer. Please, 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 a call of the heart, and lay that first brick for the temple of the forgotten goddess, where it will be the ritual of dancing. It's a consecration ritual, right, holy, sacred, and divine, to dance for the forgotten goddess. And I'm a piece of dust, DUST. The goddess of many names gonna need to take more 77 baths, immerse 77 more times in water in order to be able to pronounce, say, utter one letter of her holiest among holiest names, lest I be thundered upon, for she dances with her brother the sun, who now rises and now sets to the forgotten goddess. Thank you, farmers. I'm gonna say a gratitude this day today. As I carpe diem it every day, I'm gonna say thank you to the farmers, because everybody gotta eat, even Wall Street, all the farmers from Quebec. La belle province, merci beaucoup pour les patates, les carottes, et les oignons. Thank you for the onions, for the potatoes, for the carrots, for all the produce that do have. And yesterday had a little bit of bacon. Thank you, butchers, bakers, those doing cheese, all involved in the production and the distribution of food from the farmers to the restaurants, from La Belle Province, Quebec, Canada, Hawk Island, Montreal, throughout the collective North American civilization, the complex of North American civilization, do express a sincere gratitude to the farmers, and since like to offer more than that blah 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 blah, like to offer more than that blah 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 blah, like to offer more than that blah 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 blah. Kisses got by the trillions. First and foremost, kisses credited from the forgotten goddess, who sent one kiss from the star heavens to her sister below, and that one kiss turned transformed into trillions of kisses, which are credited to yours truly, priestess of the goddess, credited with the condition, that will freely distribute to all my willingly loving allies and armies. Just pledge your allegiance, legions, AA. So get kisses, millionaires can make you overnight millionaires in kisses. Because kisses got with some hugs and some other services, as I envision the Dancing Goddess Army to be a proactive, active service for pleasure and purpose of service, and to all my allies and armies. Pledge thy allegiance, legions, I am thy servant. I can bring joy, XYZ. Cannot have open houses, too small underground room office and temple. Maybe that house on Westmount between 57, the Belvedere, and 53, the Belvedere. There's a house left, decrepit, desolate, decaying for more than 7 years, which I've seen on Westmount. Has a beautiful green roof, a holy sacred color for the goddess, although has all many sacred colors, but one shades of green special among the rainbow and the black and the white. So that house there could have open houses for kissing, for hugging, for tickling, for doing exercising, for working out, and to express the gratitude and have proposals and have actions and philosophy and theory counterbalanced by doing, and action is required. I have been toxic, still am got a bit of toxic. I admit it, I'm not perfect like BDSM switch. I like BDSM switch. BDSM switch. Not perfect. But now I'm gonna say gratitude. Thank you, farmers. Let's do a meditation for all the farmers across North America now. For the La Belle Province, Quebec, sending some big hugs, big kisses, big blessings of health, healing to all the farmers of La Belle Province of Canada, coast to coast. United States, Mexico, since we have integrated supply chains of our food, and all the truckers. Thank you, truckers going from east, west, north, south. How many? Going from Hawk Island, aka Montreal, aka Hawk Island, Montreal, which is a big metropolis island of 2.5 million people. There are hundreds, maybe, of trucks going east, west, north, south across Canada, thousands across North America, maybe even in the tens of thousands. Truckers love you, sending some healing for the body, for the philosophy is the body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. And how do we invest in the body? Hygiene. Please increase in hygiene in public. Please increase in hygiene in public. Please increase in hygiene in public. Washing hands with soap and water when you go in and out of a building, public domain, which is not your private quarters, temple, room, office, or place where thou art in your private domain. Please increase in hygiene in public. So let's do a meditation on the truckers transporting all those grains, the food, the eggs, the milk, and those unloading the trucks and in the warehouses, and the nurses and the doctors sending big healing, big hugs. That's what God to offer first. Kisses first, hugs second, tickles thereafter, and poetry and chants and washing of the feet for all my allies and army services. DGA, the dream of the DGA, and I'm gonna continue with the dream of the dancing goddess army, which yours truly is the general founding priestess thereof. Dance like no other. We gonna organize dancing and dance events for different parts of our civilization and nature. Dance for the farmers of La Belle Province, Quebec, Canada, North America. Because first and foremost, for Quebec, La Belle Province, Canada, coast to coast, United States, and Mexico. Because we are part of a complex of North American civilization, or a collective North American civilization with common interests and integrated supply chains. And we are, by geographical realities, we have uniqueness of being surrounded by two oceans. That way, to the east, to the east, to the east, after Les Îles de la Madeleine, there is the Atlantic. And to the west, to the west, to the west, after we pass by British Columbia, it is the Pacific. Pacific to the west, Atlantic to the east, Atlantic to the east, Pacific to the west. Have North, South, Central, the complex of North American civilization, of which Montreal, aka Hawk Island, is a big, huge metropolis city. A big metropolis city. A huge, big 2.5 million people on the island of Montreal. They are at this moment in time, maybe even more with the surrounding 4.5 million people. So the second biggest metropolitan area and metropolis city island of Canada, second biggest after Toronto, and one of the biggest in North America among the 10, I believe the ninth or even the 10th or even the 8th, because Mexico City is first in terms of population, and then we have New York and Los Angeles and other cities like Dallas and other cities across North America. So thank you, farmers, butchers. Let's do another meditation. Train conductors. There is now at this moment in time passengers on the train, and a complex North American civilization with the Dragon Army, PPP, public-private partnership. That is the call of the dragon, and to secure food, housing, and transport. The four, and then offer the fourth dimension. After three are secured, the pillars of civilization, food, housing, and transport, to be of service and security, or the 21st century public-private partnership institutions for the 21st century, to encourage people in hygiene in public, encourage support and attain hygiene in public, and also workout, train, exercise, which is my medicine and therapy of choice, created on workout training program system. Thank you, farmers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, all involved in the production and distribution of food, city workers who pick up the garbage every week, pick up the compost every week, and the recycling every week. So 3 times a week, once the recycling is picked up by fellow citizen workers who, with brains and muscle, with brains and muscle, with brains and muscle. Thank you for doing the work of public utility services, the workers of Hydro Quebec, past, present, and future, Au maintenance et qui ont bâti les 763 centrales, non vous bénit dans la prêtresse de la déesse, que vous en bâtissez cette autre centrale dans les 7 prochaines années. Blessings, 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 cause have heated the coffee with electricity, which is clean, zero pollution, zero emission energy. And doing this video and meditating and being able to work online, seek partnership by utilizing the internet, which is a privilege of civilization, just like this housing, electricity, and in many ways for many of us who are not farmers, although I have some experience farming, of course, farming and the food that we have, the surplus and all the extra foods and goods and restaurants, is in many ways a privilege of civilization, as have presented the thesis called the privilege of civilization, of which myself have now interconnected privileges, such as utilizing this electricity, which of course was built when between 1944 and now, more than 77 years, 63 dams were built with brains and muscle, as brains and muscle will be required for the maintenance and hopefully upgrading civilization as we move, my brothers and sisters, hopefully towards the stars and world peace and world peace and world peace via new creative institutions and fundamentally public and private partnership, which the call of the DGA, of the dancing goddess army, fundamentally is for a public and a private partnership, a PPP, a public and a private partnership. In essence, fundamentally, it is a public and a private partnership. Fundamentally, that's what it is, a public and a private partnership that I'm calling all willingly living to support citizens, institutions, organizations, corporations, small, medium-sized businesses. I'm going to continue with the gratitude. Thank you for utilizing now this privilege of civilization, of which we all share the privilege of civilization, and we have interconnected, integrated privileges of civilization, such as, for example, on the pedestrian. When we go, we are utilizing of course, the concrete, the pedestrian sidewalks, or the transport, the highways, which were also built with brains and muscle. We're also built with some brains and some muscle, just like emotions, feelings matter. So does a little bit of brains and a little bit of muscle to maintain and build and do XYZ factors, whether cleaning, like do have to do a little bit of cleaning and vacuuming today, also cooking and dancing and giving a massage, giving a kiss, and all those trillions of kisses in the temple when we build it right brick by brick, starting with my credit of 77 trillions of kisses for the temple, and the DGA with another 77 trillions of kisses, the dancing goddess army that I'm calling all to support, to be for pleasure and purpose. And before to proceed in the pleasure and purpose description of the mission, of the fundamental essence of the mission of my dream, entitled the DGA, standing for short for the Dancing Goddess Army, before pleasure and purpose, and a public and a private partnership. So what is it? Well, it is, before we proceed, thank you to farmers. Thank you, farmers. Thank you, farmers, once again. And all those involved in the production and distribution of food. We're going to go on a little meditation now, while sending some healing, sending some love of healing and of joy and of energy and of strength for all those involved now in making food preparations for Canada, Quebec, La Belle Province, coast to coast, United States, all the way to Mexico, part of the collective North American civilization, and to those truckers transporting avocados from Mexico, or going with goods from here to Mexico, or for all those goods and grains and vegetables, the tons, how many tons are being transported now of carrots, of peas, of onions, of avocados, of bananas across the collective North American civilization. 93, 718, 156, 333, 11, tens of tons, numbers, numbers, numbers. There is a number now at this moment in time known by maybe the goddess who dances with her brother sun in her knowledge. We can speculate, and there's a definite number to it. But to those millions now preparing food, farmers, thank you, love you, kiss you, send you offer, 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 because you might say, no, I don't want nothing of your kisses, nothing of your love, nothing of your DGA, nothing. I know. Goddess, goddess, goddess. Well, the good news is that the Dancing Goddess Army is a non sectarian, non dogmatic, although based on principles, call for the creation, establishment, foundation of a public and a private institution to be non dogmatic, non sectarian. So you don't have to say the word goddess, you can say Integrated Dance League, North American Integrated Dance League, or International Integrated Dance League. But those who do say DGA, throw that DGA, throw that Dancing Goddess Army, because we will build the temple of the forgotten goddess, whether they like it or not. And not that she does need a temple, the goddess, because she's roundabout and I'm a piece of dust. Lusting, getting moody, upset, sometimes mediocre, sometimes toxic, sometimes upset. Not enough money. Not enough money to buy my anonymous friend sister a house. Wish I would. Give her a million of every, give her half of every million, every billion, every trillion that do make in terms of Canadian dollars, US dollars, or euros, or shekels, or whatever the case may be, as calling for the creation of the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit by the DRT. But that's another story for another cup of coffee. DGA, focus, focus, focus. The Dancing Goddess Army is a call to all to support the creation, establishment, foundation of a public and a private partnership, PPP, public-private partnership institution for the 21st century, for pleasure and purpose, for the purpose of attaining harmony between civilization and nature. How? By establishing more education, by integrating with all ecological institutions, centers, eco centers across North America, and institutions and organizations that are involved in recycling, in compost, in the practices that make us more environmentally. Shout out, thank you here to the workers of Hydro Quebec who now maintain. Gonna do a meditation to the workers of Hydro Quebec, sending some LOVE and energy to those who want to receive it, because you say, no, I don't want nothing to do with it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Free, 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 liberty, security, world peace. And of course, who maintain now all those polls. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup, merci beaucoup. Les travailleurs du passé et du présent. De l'Hydro-Québec et ceux qui font la maintenance maintenant. Et ceux qui font la maintenance maintenant. Et ceux qui font la maintenance maintenant. Comme l'artiste du peuple, votre prêtresse de la déesse. Oubliez mais le bleu ciel, je vous aime la belle province. That was a little bit of a chanting, singing in French, because do also speak and was born a Quebecer, Quebecoise in a past life, and do love la belle province and do love the French, French Quebec language. Do swear sometimes in French. I have a secret. Love swearing in French. Just love it. It's PG-13. But of course, brains and muscle is required now, because we're around 9 million people here in La Belle Province, and Hydro Quebec not only gives, distributes to here like Quebecois, Quebecois, but also to I think six states now in United States: Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, New York, and soon it'll be, I think, the island of Manhattan, and 30%, one third, close to New York City, will be fully will receive electricity, one third, more than 30% soon, from Hydro Quebec, and it's clean, zero pollution, environmentally friendly, and renewable, utilizing the water, holy water, water, and we're surrounded by a river, which, of course, a river and the lakes are part of the goddess's body on which we stand. The goddess is round about us. Trees are the hairs, the mountains are hers, the oceans, the lakes, the rivers. She's round about us. The goddess, forgotten goddess. We help lay a brick, first brick on the Mount Royal in Montreal, Hawk Island. That is the call to all for the forgotten goddess who still dances. So thank you, workers of Hydro Quebec. Those now still meditation on how many are preparing food now. Those warehouse workers, warehouse workers, warehouse workers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you. Offer, offer, offer. With consent and hygiene, with consent and hygiene, with consent and hygiene. But sending appreciation to the dock workers, dock workers, dock workers in the ports, in the warehouses, wearing steel toe boots, the construction workers, those workers involved, of course, in the clearing of the snow removal operations, with brains and muscle loading, unloading the trucks, truckers. Have some brain and some muscle driving the trucks east, west, north, south with tons of goods, of potatoes, of oranges, of bananas, of bread, of cereals, of milk, of eggs, of beef, of bacon, of pork, or of course other salamis, sausages, all the goods that we find in our grocery stores. Thank you, grocery store clerks. Thank you, grocery store clerks. Thank you, grocery store clerks, for all the work. Thank you, of course, all the way, of course, firefighters. Thank you, firefighters, public sanitation workers of the city, nurses. Thank you, doctors, and of course, public security workers. The policies, of course, of CIT, Citizen Integration TV, with the Dragon Army to be the public-private partnership for both security and service, just like the DGA. My call to all is to support the public-private partnership, the establishment, institutionalization, and creation of the foundation of the Dancing Goddess Army, aka the North American Integrated Dance League, to be for pleasure and for purpose. Pleasure to dance, and of course with consent to offer services, and to of course have competitive competitions in dancing and reward special, of course, artists who are dancers, but everybody can just shake their heads and support, of course, in a non-sectarian, non-dogmatic manner, the DGA for the purpose and the pleasure and purpose. Thank you, post office workers as well. Thank you, post office workers as well. Thank you, post office workers as well, those delivering now, and the cooks and the cooks and the cooks and the fast food. Hope you get a raise. The fast food, hope you get a raise. And the fast food, hope you get a raise. Across the fast food joints, operations, sending some big love. Those preparing a hamburger, making a cheeseburger, making a salad, making some fries, because everybody gotta eat. Even our multi-millionaire athletes, artists. Please, 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 Riri. Riri, you already made your millions, Riri. Let Priestess Hannah dance next to you. Priestess of the goddess, GODDSS, HNNH, dance for the Super Bowl, give half. What you make, gonna give half to my anonymous sister friend of what you give me from your half. Half of your full, I give half of my full. Half of your 100% to Priestess Hannah to dance when you sing. Half will give from what you make during the Super Bowl. How much Rihanna will make during the Super Bowl? A few million, maybe a few million, a few 100,000. With half of that, gonna give half to my anonymous friend and sister, and with the other will pay my debt and lay the first brick, by the first brick for the forgotten goddess temple. For the forgotten goddess temple, blah blah blah, I know, blah blah blah. But dancing is my favorite sport. Dancing is also pleasurable, and it's the Dancing Goddess Army. The dream is to be integrated. That means that more cooperative for purpose and pleasure, and everybody can dance. Everybody can shake their heads, or just clap their hands, or just move the body, move the body, move the body, left and right. Move the body, move the body, move the body, left and right. I said move the body, move the body, move the body, left and right. And with consent and hygiene, of course, to offer the services, whatever services by all willingly living to my allies and armies. What services? Well, kisses got by the trillions, busting dance moves, choreography, and to be for pleasure and purpose. The purpose for attaining the general purpose to attain harmony between civilization and nature. How? By better education and action of all things for better environmental living. Meaning, better recycling. Myself have some questions. Myself am not perfect. Gonna need to do on a basis, constant basis, education of the citizens. What goes in the recycling bin, what doesn't go in the recycling bin, and to organize events to go with citizens to see how the recycling process is done. Where does that big machine truck take all those bins of recycling and all that paper and all those bottles and that aluminum and those cans? Where does it go and how does it be crushed and transformed and is recycled? How from the beginning, from the citizen putting the can or the plastic or the newspaper in the recycling bin to when it's transported from the big cities of the collective North American civilization to the recycling plant where it is done the triage, right? And it goes into the machines. There's so many different machines. So it requires brains and muscle. And to support that, thank you all those involved in the recycling processes and the recycling from those brains and muscle fellow citizens, workers who pick up the compost and the recycling every week. Both are environmental. We compost here, right, in Montreal, Hawk Island, many neighborhoods have compost now, have compost. Myself, of course, have worked on the compost a few years ago. There was a small contract, and it was pleasurable and fun. And I've done a lot of education, so I have some experience. Done a lot of education and a lot of education in the compost and everything to do with recycling, but don't know it all, still have a lots of questions and still can do better. So improve citizens own from the individual citizens own recycling methods and practices to better the recycling practices of individuals, first and foremost of the collective North American civilization of North America, and of course then on the bigger macro scale. So the micro and the macro dance, the dance between the micro, the individual, myself as a citizen of North American collective civilization, of the complex of North American civilization from Quebec, La Belle Province, as a citizen of Quebec, Canada, North America, and who wishes world peace, but right here from Hawk Island, Montreal, coast to coast. Hey, so to do the better recycling and the better compost as well. What doesn't go in the compost? It might be detrimental, negative if we put something in the compost that does not go there, right? It has to be organic. That's the principle for compost. It has to be organic. It has to be organic. Most sometimes there's cardboard that says it's compostable or sort of plastic, imitative plastic that is compostable. It has to have those little leaves. The symbol for compost is leaves. The symbol for so, for example, make sure citizens know the symbols. Recycling is the three arrows. Recycling is those three arrows. The recycling is those three arrows, like chick, chick, chick. That's the symbols. So the symbols, what does it mean? Symbols have meaning for action, for principles. So those are the principles fundamentally to be for pleasure and purpose, the general principles and mission of the DGA to be for purpose and pleasure, and to organize dancing events for the farmers. First and foremost, the first dance is going to be dance of the dancing goddess army for the farmers of Quebec, La Belle Province, Canada, coast to coast, and the collective North American civilization, the North American civilizational complex, or the complex of North American civilization, or just North America, because we have integrated supply chains in terms of food, right? There's a lot of food going between Canada, US, Mexico, Mexico, US, Canada, US, Mexico, US, Canada, right? Within the three countries for so a ranging of products from grains, from avocados, from potatoes, from onions, from oranges, from grains, wheat, barley, right? There's so many at this moment in time, tons circulating of grains going to stores, going for restaurants, going for the big mega, of course, corporations involved in fast food. Not gonna name it. Please increase these salaries and thank you. All those even in fast food now making by the tens of thousands, making a cheeseburger, a salad somewhere for a trucker who stops for a cup of coffee. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are appreciated and you are loved because love God and love is also action is another principle because just say lov 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 and just theory and philosophy. Action is required in transformation and change. Brains and muscle is required as well with theory and practice. And as a pro-labor universal revolutionary centrist, I have these fresh ideas in this call to create the DGA to be in essence for pleasure and purpose and to organize concrete activities such as a dance dedicated to the farmers, calling on the multi-millionaire artists and multi-millionaire CEOs and billionaire CEOs and the NFL National Football League, the NHL National Hockey League, the NBA National Basketball Association, the MLB. Gonna say the four main patriarchal sports leagues since let's be honest that there's not even one women's sports leagues which makes even close economically, financially, commercially, money wise, not even close to what the aforementioned patriarchal sports leagues, NBA National Basketball Association, NHL National Hockey League, NBA National Basketball Association makes average 7.7 million, so the most. Please, brothers in the aforementioned sports leagues, please give for food security. Also, you gotta eat. They also gotta eat. NBA playing. Papa, I love basketball, love hockey, love gridiron, North American football. Please, NFL, CFL, triple the cheerleader salaries. Baseball, it's okay. Tolerated. Dancing is my favorite sport, and dancing is a sport. DJ is also to the point that dancing is a sport, and of course cheerleading and all dance forms. I'm learning how to twerk. Not that good at it. I'm learning how to twerk. I'm not that good at it. Need some lessons. But you, the steps of the goddess blessed priestess. Not that good at twerking, learning. But those who can are more than welcome to join the DGA. All dance forms, even those who just shake their head, hey, shake their head left and right. That is also a dance form to the music. When dance, feel the music, just feel it penetrating the whole body, and just move to its rhythm, whether it be jazz, soundtrack music from the movies, rock, rap, and of course classic, all genres of music integrated in the integrated DGA Dancing Goddess Army, and to organize dances for different parts of our civilization. For the workers, dance for the workers, dance for the workers. For the farmers, a dance. For the butchers, a dance. For the industries of food production, firefighters, a dance. Public security workers, a dance. For the public security, a dance. Dance for the public security workers for North America. A dance for food security, a dance for students, a dance for universities, a dance for recycling workers, a dance for nurses, a dance for doctors, a dance for cleaning workers, a dance for warehouse workers, a dance for train conductors, thank you, a dance for train conductors, a dance for train conductors, a dance for the truckers, a dance for the truckers, a dance for the truckers, a dance for the doctors, a dance for the farmers, a dance for the cooks, a dance for the cooks, a dance for the cooks, for the cooks, a dance for the cooks, a dance for those making clothes, for manufacturing, a dance for public workers, a dance for those involved in food production, a dance for those involved in snow removal operation, a dance for those fishing, a dance for those raising pigs for cattle, a dance for those involved in milk production, a dance for those involved in different areas of our civilization, all areas of civilization. To upgrade civilization by maintaining, attaining harmony between civilization and nature. Integrated Dance League. To dance for the transportation systems. To dance for public transit. For subway drivers and workers in the subway system. A dance for the bus drivers. A dance for the bus drivers. A dance for the bus drivers. For public transport. Right? A dance for the public workers of the cities, a dance for the construction workers, 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 A dance for all those involved in the distribution and production of food. A dance for all areas of nature. A dance for the flora. And the flora is, of course, the flowers, the trees. And a dance for the fauna. The fauna is, of course, what is the fauna? The animals. The bears, the hawks. That is the fauna. The fauna is the animalia. The animals, flora, comes from the Latin from flower. It is for all the flowers, all the things we have, as trees, bushes, everything that is the green, the grass is part of the flora. All the trees and the fauna is, of course, all the animals, all the pigs, all the wild pigs, wild boar, all the animals, the snakes. Love snakes, love snakes. Kiss a snake for world peace. Priestess Anna, what are you gonna do for world peace? Kiss a snake for world peace. Kiss a snake for world peace. So flora and fauna. Fauna is lions, lions, lions. Rider lion, kiss a snake. Rider lion, kiss a snake. Rider lion, kiss a snake for world peace. Sure. What are you willing to do for the DGA? What do you got to offer? Bring to the table. Blah blah blah. It's part of it. La la la. Singing, chants, poetry, welcome. Some blah 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 is welcome, of course, as I have blah blah blah. Perhaps too much, but it's got to be complemented by some action, by some doing, such as being, and of course doing all the things we do that we love, and to have some joy. So the DGA also to have some joy and to be for service as well, consent, hygiene, and if we build the dancing goddess army and the forgotten goddess temple, to also be for services with consent. Consent is key. Mutual understanding, LOV. Consent is key. Mutual understanding, LOV. Consent is key. Mutual understanding, LOV. And I'm not perfect. Sure, I have toxicity in me. Workout, training, exercise, dance to clear the toxins, clear the poison, clear the venom. Clear the venom! Clear the poison, clear the toxins. Clear the toxins, clear the venom, clear the poison, which do have as well. Not perfect. Piece of dust dancing to the goddess of many names. Dances with her brother's son, but got some philosophy, some art, but not perfect. Far from it. I've been depressed and suicidal. Have conquered depression by action. And loving and appreciation and gratitude have conquered depression by action. Appreciation and gratitude have conquered depression by action. Gratitude and action. And admitting that yes, with consent, mutual understanding, hygiene do like. BDSM switch. BDSM please. BDSM switch with consent, hygiene, and mutual understanding. Dancing Goddess Army to be the 21st century public and private partnership institution to organize dance events to honor our brothers and sisters, or bro sisters, or sisters bros, all that are involved in farming and trucking, transport, production, distribution of food, maintenance of civilization, public electricity, and those providing electricity so that we can, of course, function in our societies, of course, because I'm functioning and utilizing electricity now, which grateful to say that it is clean, zero pollution, zero emission energy, which I'm utilizing to drink this coffee and to call all to support, volunteer, finance, and love the DGA, which is my dream, of course, to have a 21st century public and private institution in order to organize dance events for celebrating parts of our civilization and nature, and fundamentally, in essence, to be for pleasure and purpose. Like I said, the aforementioned pleasure, dance for pleasure and with consent and hygiene, be of service, offer services, whatever it is, with consent and hygiene, and to celebrate farmers, truckers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, all involved in the production and distribution of food, workers, public utility workers who maintain, of course, the power grids and the electricity, and with brains and muscle, as brains and muscle is required for the maintenance and the building of civilization, and of course, our upgrade of civilization, which the DGA's mission is, by upgrading, meaning that to attain harmony between civilization and nature, by the DGA being integrated with all institutions and organizations as a public private partnership, and of course to be for the environment, environmental action and education, to better know what goes in the recycling, what goes in the compost at the micro level, the individual citizen level, and at the macro level, the global level, at the part of the municipality, as here in this big metropolis, living in a 2.5 million metropolis city island, Montreal, aka Hawk Island, where of course so much recycling is done every week. The recycling is being picked with brains and muscle, loading it in those big trucks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, to educate citizens and for us to go see citizens, to see where the recycling is going, how the process is going, of course continuing education so that we better our recycling practices and our compost practices, since do compost here. So for the micro and the macro, the public private partnership of the Dancing Goddess Army, and of course to organize dancing events in a cooperative way. Can be some competition with friendly cooperative competition for pleasure and purpose, and of course to institutionalize. There's a public-private partnership, and then calling the NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, to please finance women's sports leagues, because they don't make enough economically, financially, commercially, not even close to what the NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB make. And of course the DGA to be cooperative for pleasure and purpose, officially titled the International Integrated Dance League. Integrated, that'll be an all gender, all ages, all sexual orientations inclusive dance league. That's the originality 21st century of it, although we can have professional dancers with competition and organize a dance for Mother Nature, and a dance for civilization, a dance for civilization, for those bricks, for the satellites, organize a dance for science, organize a dance for the forgotten goddess, which I'm calling all to support the creation of the temple, the building. Has to be, cannot, doesn't have to be big, grandiose, super majestic. I'm calling for a minimum 156 square meters, 156 square meters, 156 square meters. And I'm laying the first foundation, crediting to all those willingly loving allies and armies 77 trillions of kisses. Yeah, I said trillions. A trillion is 1,000 billion. A billion is 1,000 million. So those trillions of kisses. Credited to yours truly, priestess of the goddess, who's not perfect. Piece of dust, D-U-S-T, with some lust, with some brains and some muscle, with some venom, some poison, some toxicity. Ongoing work of cleaning and purification and admitting certain parts of ourselves and channeling and sublimating. That's fundamentally my philosophy is channeling and sublimating whatever it is, sexual impulses, sexuality, aggression. We channel the aggression by dancing and hugging. At the DGA, we channel the aggression by dancing, hugging, and kissing, and doing some push-ups. We channel the aggression by hugging, kissing, doing some cleaning, and doing some push-ups and some kissing and some hugging. The Dancing Goddess Army, we encourage people to channel, sublimate the aggression by dancing, kissing, hugging. By dancing, kissing, hugging, and do some push-ups with consent and hygiene. Hug like you never hugged before is the main message. With consent and hygiene, mutual understanding and love. Hug like you never hugged before is the main message. With consent, mutual understanding and hygiene. Hug like you never hugged before is the main message. So as the concrete activities be by the DGA to organize mass dancing events to honor certain aspects of our civilization, whether in Mother Nature, the sun, skyscrapers, buildings, highways, a dance for the highways and all those who build with brains and muscle, with brains and muscle, with brains and muscle across this collective North American civilization, across the complex of North American civilization with brains and muscle, of laying bricks and laying cement and steel from Canada coast to coast, that highway, And of course, from Montreal, Hawk Island, the highway can go. I can take the car now and drive all the way to Mexico City. It's gonna take me a few days with a few nights, 3 nights sleeping somewhere in the U.S. Not drive right away, right? You have to stop because it's a 44-hour drive. Just the drive is a few thousand kilometers from Hawk Island, Montreal. And so that would be, of course, we have that privilege of civilization because it's a privilege of civilization. It is a privilege of civilization, of which there are many. So celebrate the highways, a dance for the highways, a dance for the lovers, a dance for the lovers, a dance for schools, for a dance for high school, dance for universities, dance for the truckers, a dance for the truckers, a dance for the plumbers, a dance for the plumbers, a dance for the plumbers, a dance for the city sanitation workers, a dance for the IT workers, to celebrate every week, different teams, different dedications, every other day, dancing Goddess Army to run all year long in the arenas, calling on the NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, for the Dancing Goddess Army to establish to help support the creation of this public-private partnership coast to coast across North America first, the collective North American civilization across the complex of North American civilization, Canada, US, Mexico, and the islands, of course, and to let Riri Rihanna the halftime Super Bowl show, calling on Riri, you already made your money, you're already rich, let somebody else eat, please, please, please. To Priestess Hannah to do a dance on the lyrics, on the music of Riri. Got love for you, Riri, but please, you give half of your 100% that you're gonna get for this halftime Super Bowl show. And Priestess Hannah struggling economically, financially, commercially broke, but got trillions of kisses, and to finance the DGA and give half of what you give me from your 100% half. From my 100% will give half to my anonymous sister, friend, sister, anonymous, whom if I make a million, gonna give her half, a billion, gonna give her half, a trillion, gonna give her half, to organize the DGA Dancing Goddess Army. Soon, Super Bowl is coming. Please, 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 all supports. Spread the message, spread the LOVE, spread the call to all. Spread the call to all. Spread the call to all for pleasure and purpose to create the public-private partnership of the DGA, the Dancing Goddess Army. Support Priestess of the Goddess's Dream to create the International Integrated Dance League, a dance league that is for pleasure and purpose for the 21st century, and to have organized an education in terms of the environment, to support more dams being built or better recycling methods. Better, of course, the dams. Hydro-Quebec are clean, renewable, zero pollution here in Quebec, La Belle Province, 63 of them, opening the 64th on La Romaine River soon. And of course, all from the micro perspective of the individual, how to better educate so that we take better action, myself included, so that we know for sure what doesn't go in the compost, what goes in the compost, what does not go in the recycling, how we can do better recycling as a micro level individual citizen, and at a bigger macro level as we ongoing do the work and effort. But right now here I'm utilizing energy to do this and have heated my coffee with clean, zero pollution, zero emission energy. So among the dances also will be a dance for Hydro Quebec, for the past, present, and future. Dancing Goddess Army from Hawk Island, Montreal, aka Hawk Island. A dance for the hydroelectric dams which utilize water, water, water. Water and fire can go work together. Fire and water can work well together. Fire and water can come together for the greater good. Fire and water, water, fire can come together for the greater good. So to dance, organize dance events, also for the forgotten goddess. So I'm calling for all to support the building of a temple. It doesn't have to be super big, majestic. Minimum 156 square meters right here in Montreal, aka Hawk. Like that HAWK bird on this island. 2.5 million people in North America, part of the complex of North American civilization as being a Quebecer, myself Canadian, North American. Many past lives, many incarnations have lived. Was actually born in a past life right here on this island. Was actually born in a past life right here on this island, close to the mountain. Was actually born right here on this island of Montreal, Hawk Island in the past life, close to Mount Royal. Mount Royal in Hawk Island, Montreal, Montreal, Montreal. Gotta be some love with consent. Hug like you never hugged before is the main message. And please, please, please increase in hygiene in public and encourage all to work out, to train, and to exercise regularly as it has been, is, and will continue to be my medicine and therapy of choice. And please increase in hygiene in public. Wash your hands with soap and water when you go in a public building which is not your private quarters, private temple, private office, private room, whatever it may be. Please, 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 we can all do better in public hygiene habits. Because when we step outside, right now in my underground room, office, and temple, literally small space, office and temple, when I step outside, I'm no longer just private citizen, right? I'm also a public citizen with an added responsibility and dimension and obligation for public hygiene at the moment, public hygiene at the moment, public hygiene at the moment. So on Hawk Island, Montreal was born. There's three peaks of the mountain system in Montreal, Hawk Island. And those three peaks are mountain. It's part of the same mountain system. And on one of those peaks, where Mount Royal, I won the temple of the goddess, forgotten goddess temple, in parallel to the DGA to be the headquarters of the DGA, the dancing goddess army, and then like a circle in a circular manner, and the pictures and depictions, and from there to dance and have dancing events, sunrise, sunset, midday sun, sunrise, midday, sunset, and night, midnight dances, morning dances, sunrise, midday dances, midday sun, and full moon events, and it's non-dogmatic, non-sectarian. The DGA with the principles for pleasure and purpose to be established, but non-sectarian, non-dogmatic. To be non-sectarian and non-dogmatic. To be non-sectarian and non-dogmatic. So non-sectarian and non-dogmatic for pleasure and purpose. Environmental pleasure and purpose. Pleasure to dance, to offer services, and for the purpose of attaining harmony between nature and civilization by education and action, and to encourage and have events where we go across North America and see all the recycling and tank and do a dance, dedicated dance of the DGA for the workers who pick the garbage and the recycling and the compost every week across major cities of North America. Every week, the big recycling bins are picked up and go to those big factories to do the recycling. So a dance to appreciate that work, which requires brains and muscle and has required brains and muscle. So brains and muscle are part of the philosophy of the dancing goddess army. To do, to action, to meditate and philosophize and theorize, but also to take action and dance for that appreciation of the farmers. Dance for the farmers, dedicated one day. Another day, dance for the butchers. Another day, dance for the firefighters. Another day, another week, a dance for the public security workers, and so on and so forth. Have a regular cycle, establish a regular cycle, establish a regular cycle. A dance for those workers in recycling, a dance for the nurses, a dance for those working in healthcare, a dance for those working in education, a dance for those working in sanitation, a dance for the construction workers, a public and a private partnership to recognize, and a dance for civilization, and a dance for nature, and a dance for flora, and a dance for fauna. Fauna means the animalia, the animals, the snakes, the lions, the bears, all the birds, and all the creatures that are living animals, while fauna is the more inorganic life. The flowers, the vegetables, right? The trees, that is the flora, and the fauna is the animals. The dogs, the cats are part of the fauna, Fauna, and the flora, the trees, the flowers, Flora, coming from Latin. So one dance for civilization, one dance for nature, one dance for the animals, for the flora, one dance for the fauna, another dance another week for the farmers, another week for the truckers, another dance for the butchers, another dance for the workers in public utility workers. Thank you farmers. Gonna finish and close up with this gratitude as well. I'm about to contact different institutions of dancing after this. Have some lunch. I'm thankful, grateful for the food. Thank you, love you, kiss you. Offer to kiss with consent, with consent, kisses God. But sending good love, good blessings of healing Farmers, coast to coast, thank you, love you, kiss you. Farmers, those involved in the transportation, truckers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, all those involved in transportation, truckers, nurses, doctors, firefighters, grocery store clerks, all involved in the warehouses unloading trucks to go on the grocery store shelves. Of course, as an independent artist and universal spiritual teaching student, calling all in a non-dogmatic, non-sectarian, non-dogmatic manner, and say the word goddess. You don't have to. You can say the North American Dance League, the International Integrated Dance League. Don't have to say the DGA, Dancing Goddess Arm. You can just use the more secular. It can be very secular in certain circumstances, but can be reserved in spirituality. And as an independent psychological theorist and analyst, my keywords are sublimate and channel all the urges, the lusts, whatever we have into constructive activities by taking action and doing XYZ activities for pleasure and purpose, and call to all to support lay the first brick of the Forgotten Goddess Temple, Forgotten Goddess Temple, Forgotten Goddess Temple, and the DGA to be an institution based on public-private partnership for both pleasure and purpose for the 21st century in all the aforementioned which I've just mentioned, to be part of the ongoing environmental education, environmental best practices for the environment, and to organize and dedicate dancing events for different parts of our civilization, to the farmers dedicated dance, to the truckers dedicated dance, to the butchers dedicated dance, to the nurses dedicated dance, to the grocery store clerks, and of course to those working in railways. Let's do a meditation now. Those railways across North America, how many trains are going, freight trains carrying so many goods, going coast to coast. There's a definite number with grains, with wheat, right, going coast to coast for the families to feed, because food security is super important. Food security is super important. Food is holy, sacred, and divine. So the importance of food security for us to upgrade and maintain civilization, hopefully to maintain it by attaining harmony between civilization and nature, and of course doing all the things we do and involved in the building of civilization or the maintenance thereof. And by maintenance in this time, 21st century, is of course the attainment of harmony between civilization and nature by better, more recycling, more compost, more solar power, more hydropower. That's the gratitude here, being thankful that I'm utilizing clean, zero pollution, zero emission energy now from the workers of Hydro-Quebec, who built 63 dams of Hydro-Quebec, which give all the electricity that we utilize as Quebecers in Quebec, la belle province. Merci beaucoup, je vous offre de l'amour. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and appreciate it. And the work that is ongoing of education at the micro level, the citizens, so that we can better compost, better recycling, and be more aware and integrated. To integrate, apply the CIT Citizen Integration Theory, the DGA Dancing Goddess Army, complementary in a covenant cooperative way with the Dragon Army. To be for pleasure and purpose is the Dragon Army, another public-private partnership that I'm calling in cooperation, covenant cooperative way, to be for service and security for the collective North American first and foremost, for North America as a public-private partnership fundamentally to organize dancing events for different sectors of our civilization, of our economy, whether for IT workers, for science, a dance for science, a dance for art, a dance for civilization, a dance for nurses, a dance for doctors, a dance for grocery store clerks, a dance for the lovers, a dance for the students, a dance for the teachers, a dance for the butchers, a dance for the plumbers, a dance for the electricians, a dance for the electricians, a dance for the electricians, a for all, a dance for all the works that exist, a dance of course for the restaurants, a dance for the food chains, a dance for the supply chains, a dance for the highways, for those who build the highways, of which we have the privilege now. If we have a car, do not drive myself, but of course drive steel toe boots, and boots gifted winter boots that wearing the rainbow laces, the best laces ever got from my anonymous friend sister, whom if I met can be, I'm gonna give her half. Gave me those great boots. Called her names a few times. It's mean sometimes. We got work to do on ourselves sometimes, and it's hard to admit certain things. And we assume much. Not perfect, far from it. Kisses got, and if I would wanna achieve something rather than working out, training, and dancing is together with you, all willingly loving, pledge your allegiance. Allegiance is build the dancing goddess army. Support the dream of the dancing goddess and the dragon empire. The dragon empire and the dancing goddess empire, the one kingdom. And of course, the creation, building of a temple for the forgotten goddess. The forgotten goddess temple. Now we're just gonna finish with a little bit of poetry, a little bit of singing. We're gonna finish this rock and roll third final part of the Dancing Goddess Army with yours truly, Priestess of the Goddess. We're gonna go in rock and roll, both French and English. Ready, please? This is property copyright of Priestess of the Goddess. GODDSS. If you want to make an offer, buy the lyrics. Is gonna be channeled from the goddess. Lest you be thundered upon. The money, finance, economy made from these channeled songs will be utilized for the DGA only. First and foremost to the allies and armies, and to give my sister by my anonymous friend, sister, a house. And to lay that first brick, buy that first brick, and the contract for the construction workers to build the Forgotten Goddess Temple, 156 meters, square meters, 156 square meters, 156 square meters. Which I'm founding first and foremost with kisses, blah, 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 blah. We're gonna snap the fingers for the goddess. GODDS, they never heard about it. When they gotta goddess it. With some kisses, priestess with some kisses. Hey, I hear the hisses, that's okay, snakes are holy in their book. You just gotta look, hey, venez, vous devrez, pour de vrai, des bisous pis des câlins. Avec consentement, donnez-vous un câlin comme jamais avant. Avec consentement, donnez-vous un câlin comme jamais avant. Avec consentement, donnez-vous un câlin comme jamais avant. Tapez-moi des mains pis des pieds. Dans un cercle en rond pour l'amour. S'il vous plaît, l'hygiène en public, lavez-vous les mains. S'il vous plaît, l'hygiène en public, lavez-vous les mains. S'il vous plaît, l'hygiène en public, lavez-vous les mains. Please do the trip with the heads, with a sing, for the goddess, for the flora and the fauna, with the priestess Hannah, for the goddess forgotten with the flora and the fauna, say la la la. For the priestess of the goddess, priestess Hannah, la la la, tra-la, love it, kiss it, love it. You already made your millions. Please let the priestess also eat. Fund the dancing goddess army, please. With a temple of the goddess, you already made those millions, yep. They so selfish, please. NFL give triple cheerleaders salaries, please. On that NHL hockey sticks, please support that DGA NBA. Please support that DGA the NBA. Please support that DGA the NBA. Say hey, we're gonna dance in MLB. We don't play. We gonna play, we gonna slay. Yeah, you can twerk up in the late with no phrases. For the lays, hey, les cheveux dans les airs. Ah ouais, sans misère. Céline, s'il vous plaît, Céline. Ah ouais, sur la côte de la lune. De la lune, la pleine, ah ouais, pour demain. Oh, demain. Donner et recevoir, yep. Avec une guitare, puis le tambour, je me de quelque chose de bon. Ah oui, plus une autre chanson pour une déesse oubliée. Danse le bleu ciel bien bénite. Pas de l'eau bénite, mais du vin, s'il vous plaît. Ah oui, regardez, une danse. Par la gauche puis par la droite. Faut que ça chante rock and roll, la belle province. Et les mains, ah oui, sans gêne. Sans gêne, mais avec hygiène. Consentement, sur la lune pleine. Sur la brame des plaines, c'est côtes pleines de la laine. Pleine de la laine jusqu'aux îles de la Madeleine, jusqu'aux îles de la Madeleine, jusqu'aux îles de la Madeleine, c'est la côte de la pleine lune. Ah oui, là, tapez-moi des mains pis des pieds. Juste un peu, ah oui, s'il vous plaît. Tapez-moi des mains pis des pieds. Juste un peu, s'il vous plaît. Tapez-moi des mains puis des pieds, juste un peu, petit peu, s'il vous plaît. Pour la prêtresse de la déesse, habillez-moi en belle province, avec fleurs de lys en arc-en-ciel. Qui danse, belle prêtresse. Pour la déesse, ça fait le feu, le dragon veut. Ça fait le feu et le dragon veut. Un vœu pour la santé. Oh, l'exercice, ah ouais, pompe, s'il vous plaît. That's another rock and roll. For the goddess, here we go. There's another rock and roll. For the goddess, here we roll. Stand up in a row. For the solo DGA. For the solo, s'il vous plaît. That's the French we do parlay. That's the French we do say hey. Say with a hey. With a horses never slay. With a black and white and rainbow. With a purple when it's rainbow. When it's rainbow, got some venom, got some toxic, I ain't perfect. Got a BDSM switch, gonna switch to a rap bitch. When they say up in the finger licks, we twerk up in the publics. Wish up in the hope, wish up in the low goddess. Yep, they call a hoe, holy dough. Goddess, they even call a hoe. I say holy dough. Goddess, even they say ho. I say holy dough. With some show on the floor, on the kiss, on the hissing into this. Ready, go so steady, steady, hey baby. For that kissing and that hugging. With some loving, with some fronting. With some BDSM switching. Farmers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, thank you. With some rock and roll and poetry for you. For that flora and the fauna, priestess, goddess, come to mama. Wanna play it, wanna player, wanna do it, wanna slayer, wanna dragon with the dragons, wanna thunder with a goddess, gotta say lit, kiss his licks. Eh oui, bonjour l'après-midi, bonjour dans la soirée, oui. Ah oui, ça joue une tournée, s'il vous plaît. Pour l'amour, pour la renaissance de la belle province. Dans l'Amérique du Nord, oui. Pour l'océan de gauche à droite. Pour la montagne, ça roule, oui. Puis le fermier, ah oui, ta patate. Avec des oignons, s'il vous plaît. Un petit peu de lait et de fromage. Avec ça, danse les mains. Avec du vin, 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 vin. Venez, 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 venez. Avec du vin, 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 vin. Venez, 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 venez. Avec du vin, 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 vin. Venez, 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 venez.